Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Everyday English Podcasts, the place where learning English becomes simple, fun, and part of your daily routine. I'm Anna.
And I'm Dan. It's really good to be here again.
Today's episode is all about time management. But before we officially start the topic, we wanted to talk a little more freely. Just two people sharing real experiences, mistakes, and thoughts. No rules yet, just conversation.
Exactly. Because when people hear time management, they often think of strict schedules, productivity apps, or waking up at 5 in the morning. But real life is usually much messier than that.
Very true. And honestly, I think my relationship with time has changed so much over the years. When I was younger, I believed that being busy meant being successful. If my day was full, I felt important.
I relate to that a lot. For me, being busy was almost like a badge of honor. If someone asked, "How are you?" and I said, "I'm so busy," it felt like I was doing something right.
Yes, but at the same time, I was constantly tired. I remember one period in my life when I had work, extra courses, social plans, and personal goals, all at once. On paper, everything looked great. In reality, I was stressed and always rushing.
I had a similar experience when I started my first full-time job. I thought time management meant saying yes to everything. Yes to overtime, yes to helping colleagues, yes to extra projects. I didn't want to disappoint anyone.
And did it work?
Not really. I ended up disappointing myself. I had no time to rest, no time to think, and no time to enjoy what I was doing. My days felt full but empty at the same time.
That's such an interesting way to say it. Full but empty. I think many people listening will understand that feeling.
I hope so. And I also made very basic mistakes. For example, I underestimated how long things take. I'd think, this will take 20 minutes, and 2 hours later I was still working on it.
Oh, I do that all the time, especially with creative tasks. Writing, planning, preparing lessons, it always takes longer than I expect, and then I feel frustrated, like I'm slow or inefficient.
Exactly. But maybe the problem isn't speed. Maybe it's unrealistic expectations.
That's a good point. I remember one morning when I planned my entire day hour by hour. It looked perfect, but then one small thing went wrong, an unexpected call, and everything collapsed.
Let me guess, you felt like the whole day was ruined.
Yes, completely. And that taught me something important. Being too strict with time can actually create more stress.
I learned that lesson during university. I tried using a very detailed planner. Every hour was planned. Study, break, exercise, study again. But life didn't follow my planner.
Life never does.
Exactly. So after a few weeks, I gave up completely. I stopped planning at all, which was the opposite extreme and also not great.
That's interesting. So you went from over-planning to no planning.
Yes, and neither worked. Over time, I realized that time management isn't about control. It's more about awareness.
Awareness of what?
Awareness of how you actually spend your time, not how you think you spend it.
That's so true. I once tracked my phone usage for a week. I thought I used my phone maybe 1 hour a day. It was closer to 4 hours.
4 hours?
I know. And the worst part was that it didn't feel relaxing. It was just scrolling, checking messages, switching between apps. At the end of the day, I felt tired but not satisfied.
That's something many people experience. We lose time in small pieces. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and suddenly the day is over.
And then we say, I don't have time, when actually, time was there, it just disappeared quietly.
I remember missing an important deadline once because I kept thinking, I'll do it later. Later became tomorrow, tomorrow became next week, and suddenly it was too late.
How did that feel?
Honestly, embarrassing. I had to explain myself, and I realized I wasn't managing my time, I was avoiding discomfort.
That's a powerful insight. Sometimes poor time management isn't about laziness, it's about emotions, fear, stress, or even perfectionism.
Yes, I would delay tasks because I wanted to do them perfectly, but waiting didn't make them better, it just added pressure.
I've done the same. I'd wait for the perfect moment to start something, the perfect energy, the perfect mood, but that moment rarely comes.
So true. And over the years, my idea of time management has become more gentle, less about controlling every minute and more about choosing what matters.
I love that. Choosing what matters. For me, that meant accepting that I can't do everything. And that's okay.
That acceptance is hard, though.
Very hard, especially in a world that tells us to be productive all the time.
Exactly. And that's why this topic is so important, not just for English learners, but for anyone trying to live a balanced life.
All right, I think we've shared enough personal stories to warm things up.
Yes, now that we've talked honestly about our struggles and experiences,
All right, let's officially start today's topic. All right, now that we've officially started, let's talk about what time management actually means in real life. Not the textbook definition, but the everyday meaning.
yes, because if you search online, you'll find definitions like the ability to plan and control how you spend your hours. That sounds fine, but it doesn't really explain how it feels day to day.
Exactly. For me, time management is less about controlling time and more about making peace with it. Time moves whether we like it or not. The question is how we move with it.
I like that idea. I think many people imagine time management as something strict, like waking up early, having a full schedule, and never wasting a minute.
And that image can be discouraging, especially for people whose lives are unpredictable parents, students, people working multiple jobs.
Yes, for them, perfect planning isn't realistic. So maybe good time management looks different depending on your situation.
I agree. For example, when someone says, I'm very busy, what do they really mean? Busy doing what?
That's an interesting question. Sometimes busy means productive. Other times it just means overwhelmed.
Exactly. I've met people who are busy all day but don't feel they've achieved much. And I've met others who have calm days and still get important things done.
So being busy doesn't always mean using time well.
Not at all. Sometimes it means the opposite.
I think there's also a cultural side to this. In some cultures, being busy is admired. It shows ambition and discipline.
Yes, saying I'm busy can sound impressive, like your life is full and important. But in other cultures, having free time is a sign of balance and success. It means you've organized your life well.
That's true. And even within one culture, different lifestyles create different relationships with time.
For example, students often think in terms of deadlines and exams. Their time feels temporary, like everything is leading to the next test.
While working adults might think in long-term routines, workdays, weekends, holidays.
And then there are freelancers or self-employed people whose time feels both free and stressful at the same time.
Yes, because freedom also means responsibility. No one tells you when to start or stop.
So time management in real life depends on context. A single parent, a university student, and a remote worker all face different challenges.
That's why one-size-fits-all advice rarely works. Saying just wake up earlier doesn't solve deeper problems.
Absolutely. Another thing I've noticed is how people feel about time. Some people feel they never have enough of it.
They're always chasing it.
Yes. Others feel bored, like time moves too slowly.
That's interesting. We usually talk about lack of time, but having too much unstructured time can also be difficult.
Especially if you don't know how to use it meaningfully.
So maybe time management is not just about quantity of time, but quality.
I agree. 2 hours can feel very different depending on how you spend them.
Let's take a simple example. Imagine you have one free evening. You could spend it scrolling on your phone, or talking with a friend, or learning something new.
All three take time, but they don't give the same feeling afterward.
Exactly. One might leave you relaxed, another connected, another proud.
So, real-life time management is about choosing activities that match your values.
Yes, values are key. If family is important to you, then spending time with them isn't wasted time, even if it looks unproductive.
That's such an important point. Many people feel guilty when they rest or relax.
Because rest doesn't always look productive.
But without rest, time becomes exhausting instead of supportive.
I think another real-life issue is interruptions. We plan our time, but life interrupts us constantly.
Messages, emails, calls, unexpected problems.
And digital life makes this worse. We are reachable all the time.
Which creates the feeling that time is always broken into pieces.
Yes, and then it's harder to focus, harder to feel satisfied.
So managing time today also means managing attention.
That's a great way to say it. If your attention is always divided, time feels shorter.
I also think age changes how we see time. When we're younger, time feels endless.
And when we get older, time feels more precious.
That awareness can be scary, but also motivating.
It can push us to use time more intentionally.
So if we had to explain time management in real life language, what would we say?
I'd say it's the ability to decide what deserves your energy today and what can wait.
I like that. I'd also say that it's also about accepting limits. You can't do everything, and that's normal.
Yes, time management isn't about becoming a machine.
It's about becoming more human with your time.
And understanding that every choice has a cost. Saying yes to one thing often means saying no to something else.
That's a hard lesson, but an important one. So in real life, time management is messy, personal, and constantly changing.
And that's okay. There's no perfect system.
Only systems that work or don't work for you.
Exactly.
Now, let's move on to something very practical, habits. Because when we talk about time management, what we really mean most of the time is what we do every day without thinking too much.
Yes, habits quietly shape our days. And what's interesting is that small habits often have a bigger impact than big plans.
Absolutely. You can have the best schedule in the world, but if your daily habits don't support it, it won't work.
So maybe we should start with some good time management habits. Not perfect ones, just realistic ones.
All right. One habit that helps me a lot is starting the day by choosing just 3 important tasks. Not 10, not everything, just 3.
That's a good one. It creates focus.
Exactly. And if I finish those 3 tasks, I already feel successful, even if the rest of the day is messy.
I do something similar, but I like to choose one priority task, the one thing that would make the day feel meaningful if I completed it.
I like that approach too. It reduces pressure.
Another good habit for me is being honest about my energy. I don't do deep thinking late at night anymore.
That's wise. I used to force myself to work at times that didn't match my energy, and it never went well.
Exactly. Time management isn't only about the clock. It's also about your body and mind.
So a good habit is matching tasks to your energy levels.
Yes, for example, answering emails when you're tired and doing creative work when you're fresh.
Now let's talk about bad habits because we all have them.
Unfortunately, yes.
One bad habit I struggle with is checking my phone just for a minute,
Ah, the famous just 1 minute.
which turns into 20 or 30.
That's a very common problem. The phone is one of the biggest time thieves.
And what makes it worse is that it feels harmless.
Yes, you don't decide to waste time. It just happens.
Another bad habit is multitasking. I used to believe it made me efficient.
Same here. I'd work while listening to something, checking messages, and thinking about other tasks.
And in the end, everything took longer.
Exactly. Multitasking often creates the illusion of productivity, not real productivity.
It also increases mental tiredness.
Yes, because your brain keeps switching.
Another bad habit is saying yes too quickly,
That's a big one, especially for people who want to be helpful.
or who are afraid of missing opportunities.
Yes, but every yes takes time.
And if you say yes to too many things, you lose control of your schedule.
I learned this the hard way at work. I accepted tasks without checking my existing workload.
And then,
Deadlines overlapped, stress increased, and my work quality suffered.
so a good habit would be pausing before saying yes.
Exactly. Saying, "Let me check my schedule," is a powerful sentence.
Let's talk about time management in different parts of life, like work, study, and family,
At work, a good habit is setting boundaries.
such as not answering emails at all hours.
Yes, or protecting focus time.
A bad habit at work is constant interruption, checking messages every few minutes.
Which makes deep work almost impossible.
For students, a good habit is studying regularly instead of only before exams.
Yes, short, consistent study sessions are more effective.
A bad habit is waiting for motivation.
Motivation is unreliable.
Very. Action often comes before motivation, not after.
In family life, time management is more emotional.
Yes, because relationships don't follow schedules easily.
A good habit is being present, really present during shared time.
Putting the phone away, for example.
A bad habit is being physically there but mentally elsewhere.
That's very common.
Now let's talk about rest, because this is where opinions differ.
Yes, some people see rest as part of good time management.
Others see it as wasted time.
I strongly believe rest is productive.
I agree, but I think the type of rest matters.
How so?
Some rest truly restores you. Sleep, walks, quiet time. Other rest, like endless scrolling, can drain energy.
That's a fair point. Not all rest is equal.
So, a good habit is choosing rest that actually helps you recover.
And a bad habit is confusing avoidance with rest.
Yes, avoiding a task with resting can create more stress later.
Another habit worth mentioning is reflection.
Definitely. Taking a few minutes to think about how you spent your time,
What worked, what didn't.
without judgment,
That's important. Reflection should be gentle, not critical.
because guilt doesn't improve time management.
Awareness does.
So, when we look at habits, we see that good and bad time management isn't about discipline alone,
It's about honesty, balance, and self-knowledge.
and being willing to change habits slowly.
One small habit at a time.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about strategies, tools, and mindsets. This is the part people often expect first, but I think it makes more sense after talking about habits.
Yes, because tools don't fix problems by themselves. They only support the way you already think about time.
Exactly. So maybe we should start with mindset because that's the foundation.
All right. One mindset that really changed my relationship with time is accepting that I will never finish everything.
That's such a freeing idea.
It is. Once I accepted that my to-do list will always be incomplete, I stopped feeling like a failure at the end of the day.
I had a similar shift. I stopped asking, did I do everything? And started asking, did I do what mattered most?
That's a much healthier question.
Another helpful mindset is seeing time management as a skill, not a personality trait.
Yes, some people say I'm just bad at time management, as if it's permanent.
But skills can be learned and improved.
Exactly, and improvement doesn't have to be dramatic.
Small changes are more sustainable.
Now, let's move to planning strategies. How do you usually plan your time, Anna?
I like weekly planning more than daily planning
Interesting. Why?
because a week gives me a bigger picture. I can see busy days and lighter days, and I don't panic if one day goes badly.
That makes sense. I prefer a mix. I plan my week roughly, then adjust daily.
Flexibility seems key.
Yes, rigid plans often break.
One strategy I like is time blocking, but loosely.
Loosely?
Yes, I block time for types of tasks, not exact tasks. For example, creative work instead of write exactly this.
I like that. It allows freedom within structure.
Exactly. And if my energy changes, I can switch tasks without feeling like I failed.
I use lists, but I keep them short. A long list makes me anxious.
Same here. Long lists are dangerous.
Another strategy is prioritization. Not everything is equally important.
But we often treat tasks as if they are.
Yes, answering emails can feel urgent, but it's not always important.
While long-term goals are important, but not urgent.
And those are the easiest to delay.
So a useful strategy is regularly asking, is this urgent, important, both, or neither?
That question alone can change your day.
Now let's talk about tools, planners, apps, calendars.
People love tools.
Yes, sometimes more than the actual work.
I've tried many apps. Some helped, some became distractions.
That's the risk. A tool should simplify, not complicate.
I currently use a very simple digital calendar and a notes app.
I still like writing things down on paper.
Really?
Yes, writing slows me down and makes tasks feel more real.
I can see that. Digital tools are fast, but sometimes too fast.
Exactly, but I don't think one is better than the other. It's about preference.
Agreed. The best tool is the one you actually use.
Let's talk about routines. Some people love them, others hate them.
I used to hate routines. They felt boring.
And now?
Now I see them as mental relief. I don't have to decide everything every day.
That's a great benefit. Routines reduce decision fatigue.
Yes, simple routines like morning or evening habits.
I agree, but I also think routines should be flexible.
Here's where we might disagree a little.
Go on.
I think some routines should be non-negotiable, like sleep time.
That's fair. Sleep is special.
Without enough sleep, no strategy works.
True, but I still think life sometimes requires breaking routines.
Of course, the key is not breaking them all the time.
Balance again.
Always.
Another mindset worth mentioning is self-compassion.
Very important.
When we waste time or make mistakes, we often become very harsh with ourselves.
And that negativity can make things worse.
Yes, it can lead to avoidance and procrastination.
So a helpful mindset is saying, today didn't go as planned, but tomorrow is another chance.
Without drama.
Exactly. Calm reflection instead of self-criticism.
One more strategy I like is leaving empty space in the schedule.
That's interesting. Many people try to fill every hour.
But empty time allows for surprises, rest, and creativity.
I used to think empty time was wasted time.
And now?
Now I see it as breathing room.
That's a beautiful way to describe it.
So when we talk about strategies, tools, and mindsets, the main idea is not control.
It's support.
Support for your energy, values, and real life.
And being willing to adjust when something doesn't work.
Because time management is not a one-time decision.
It's an ongoing conversation with yourself.
Well said.
Now that we've talked through experiences, meanings, habits, and strategies, I think this is a good moment to slow down and reflect. Not to add new systems or rules, but to gently connect the ideas we've shared.
Yes, time management can easily become overwhelming if we treat it like a problem to solve instead of a relationship to understand.
I like that word, relationship, because our relationship with time changes depending on our age, responsibilities, and even our emotional state.
Exactly. There were periods in my life when time felt like an enemy. I was always chasing it, always behind.
And other times when it felt calmer, more supportive.
Yes, and the difference wasn't always external. Often it was internal.
That's an important insight. We often blame time itself, but time doesn't change. Our expectations do.
So maybe one key idea is this. Time management starts with awareness, not discipline.
Awareness of how you spend your time.
Awareness of what drains you and what gives you energy.
And awareness of what truly matters to you.
When those things become clearer, decisions about time become easier.
Not easy, but easier.
Yes, that's a better word.
If we look back at what we discussed, a few themes come up again and again. One is choice.
Every day we make choices about how we spend our time, even when it doesn't feel like a choice.
Scrolling, saying yes, delaying, these are all choices, often unconscious ones.
And once we notice them, we gain a bit of power back
Another theme is balance,
between productivity and rest,
between planning and flexibility.
between ambition and acceptance.
Balance doesn't mean doing everything perfectly.
It means adjusting when things feel off,
I also think it's important to talk directly to our listeners for a moment.
especially those learning English.
Yes, learning a language takes time, and that can be frustrating.
Very. Many learners feel they're not progressing fast enough,
And they compare themselves to others.
which can create unnecessary pressure.
So here's a piece of advice. Treat your English learning time with the same kindness we've been talking about.
Short, regular practice is better than long, stressful sessions.
And consistency matters more than perfection.
Even listening to a podcast like this one during a walk or while relaxing is valuable time.
It all counts. Another idea we touched on was letting go of guilt.
Yes, guilt is a heavy emotion and it doesn't help us manage time better.
If a day didn't go well, that's information, not failure.
Information you can use tomorrow.
So instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" ask, "What can I adjust?"
That question is much more productive.
Before we finish, I'd like to share one simple reflection exercise with our listeners.
Go ahead.
At the end of today or any day, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I spend my time on? How did it make me feel? And what would I like to do a little differently tomorrow?
I like that. It's simple but meaningful.
And it doesn't require any app or planner.
Just honesty.
Exactly.
If we had to give one final piece of advice about time management, what would it be?
Mine would be, don't try to change everything at once.
That's a good one.
Change one habit, protect 1 hour, say no once.
I'd say design your time to support the life you want, not the life you think you should want.
That's powerful.
Because should creates pressure, and pressure often leads to burnout.
Time is limited, but it's also flexible.
And how we use it shapes our days and eventually our lives.
We hope today's conversation helped you think about time in a calmer, more realistic way.
If you enjoyed this episode and found it useful for your English learning, we'd love for you to support the channel.
You can like the video, subscribe to Everyday English Podcasts, and share this episode with someone who's also learning English.
And remember, practicing English doesn't have to be stressful or perfect.
Make it part of your daily routine in a way that fits your life.
Thank you for spending your time with us today.
Until next time, take care of your time and yourself.